Picture the scene. It happens once a year, always the same, almost ritualistic. You're sitting at a table, a restaurant, a living room, somewhere public enough to be watched. The lights dim, conversations pause, and suddenly people begin to sing. They are looking directly at you. A cake is placed in front of your face. The candles soften the frosting. Wax drips. Time becomes visible. For about 30 seconds, you are not a guest. You are a hostage. You have to perform gratitude. You have to smile convincingly. You have to look surprised by something you knew was coming. And while everyone waits for you to react, your mind is doing something else entirely. If this moment tightens your chest instead of warming it, there's nothing wrong with you. And if you have never said that out loud, you are not alone. Many people have spent their entire lives smiling through birthdays while something inside them recoiled. They wondered if that made them cold, ungrateful, socially defective in a way that never quite shows but is always felt. Research on what's commonly called birthday blues or birthday depression shows this isn't rare. Surveys and clinical observations indicate that a notable portion of adults experience dread, anxiety, or low mood around their birthdays, often tied to forced performance, fear of aging, unmet expectations, or the pressure to appear grateful. For highly sensitive people, HSPs, introverts, or those with deep analytical minds, estimated at 15-30% of the population, this resistance can be significantly stronger. The day doesn't just feel obligatory, it feels invasive. It amplifies emotional overload, authenticity conflicts, and a sense of being observed in a way that never quite aligns with your inner rhythm. This isn't ingratitude. It's a quiet refusal to fake alignment when the inner world doesn't match the outer script. Here is the truth most people never hear. This is not about hating celebration. It is about how your mind relates to time, meaning, and authenticity. Personality research suggests that a large percentage of highly sensitive and analytically inclined people feel genuine resistance around their birthdays. Not sadness, not depression, resistance. And what if that resistance is not a flaw at all? What if it is intelligence, emotional, existential, quietly precise, that simply does not fit ritualized joy? If you are watching this late at night, when the world has gone quiet, you're exactly where this conversation belongs. Because this is not a video for daytime minds. To understand birthday dread, we have to talk about time. Not philosophically, but experientially. Imagine time as a river. For most people, the river is abstract. They float, distracted, busy, half aware. But some minds feel the water. They feel its temperature. They feel the current. They feel that something is constantly being taken. Every birthday marks another stretch gone forever. Not metaphorically, neurologically. Another configuration of possibility that will never exist again. Most people treat birthdays like addition, another number, another candle. Your mind sees subtraction. Years lived minus years remaining, a shrinking margin. A finite balance sheet that no amount of cake can replenish. During the day, defenses hold. Work, noise, responsibility, notifications, small talk. All of it dulls the sensation. But night removes the armor. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker demonstrated that as the brain prepares for sleep, the prefrontal cortex, the rational regulator, loosens its control. Emotional intensity rises by up to 60%. Nothing becomes darker at night. You simply stop filtering reality. The river becomes louder. The current stronger. That is why the river is loudest at 3 a.m. That is why birthdays feel survivable in daylight and unbearable in the dark. You're not obsessed with time. You are aware of it. So ask yourself this, not poetically, but honestly. What exactly did this year take from you? Not in general. One thing, one specific loss, one dream deferred, one relationship quietly eroded, one version of yourself that slipped away without warning. Most people never name their losses. And unnamed losses do not disappear. They wait. They wait until the house is silent, until the phone stops buzzing, until the world gives you no more excuses to look away. Now let us talk about the celebration itself. Birthdays are not spontaneous. They are scripted. Smile. React. Express gratitude. Demonstrate happiness at the correct intensity. Say thank you the right number of times. Pose for the photo that will live forever online. Highly introspective minds share a trait psychologists call a high need for authenticity. You do not crave attention. You crave coherence, alignment between what is felt and what is shown. A birthday party often violates that alignment completely. You sense obligation in the room. You notice forced enthusiasm. You are aware that the attention was not earned. It was scheduled. You feel the weight of every eye waiting for your happy reaction. This creates what we might call the spotlight paradox. Highly sensitive individuals, often called HSPs, feel this paradox most acutely. The spotlight isn't energizing, it's draining. The noise, the eyes on you, the required emotional output, it overloads the nervous system. Psychologists note that for people with a high need for authenticity, any perceived inauthenticity, Even well-meaning birthday cheer triggers discomfort, sometimes bordering on anxiety or quiet panic. You're not antisocial. You're protecting coherence. The dread isn't about people. It's about preserving emotional truth in a moment built for performance. If achievement earns applause, it feels legitimate. If mere existence earns it, something feels off. Not because you do not value life, but because you value meaning. So when you say you hate your birthday, what you are really saying is this: I hate performing an emotion I do not feel. That performance costs energy, not social anxiety energy, existential energy. The kind that drains you faster than work, faster than conflict, faster than anything else. That is why night feels safe. No audience, no script, no obligation to be okay. But the mind does not rest there either. Because birthdays do not just bring rituals, they bring judgment. Every birthday triggers an internal audit, an annual performance review you never asked for. What did you do this year? Did you progress? Did you become who you thought you would? Did you use the time wisely? Some people glance at these questions and move on. You do not. You cross-examine yourself. You compare the ideal self, the imagined future, the version you promised yourself, to the actual self sitting quietly, tired, unfinished, still carrying the same doubts from last year. The pain is not failure. It is discrepancy, a gap that stares back at you. This internal audit often spikes around birthdays because the date forces a checkpoint. Existential psychology links it to terror management, a subtle awareness of mortality that most people distract from, but reflective minds cannot. When the cake arrives, so does the unspoken question, is this all there is? For some, that question arrives with panic. For others, quiet sorrow. Either way, it's not weakness. It's evidence of a mind unwilling to numb the arithmetic of existence. A 2018 study in the Journal of Behavior Therapy showed that this type of rumination is tightly linked to identity construction. You are not spiraling. You are attempting coherence. But vivid imagination has a cost. Your ideal self is always faster than you. It has already arrived at the finish line while you're still tying your shoes. So let me ask you something uncomfortable. Which version of you feels more accusing? Who you used to be or who you thought you would be by now? Most people avoid that question. You do not. And that honesty, while painful, is the engine of real change. But change takes time, and time is the very thing birthdays remind you is limited. The audit isn't just about what you've done, it's about what you haven't. The roads not taken, the chances missed, the people you could have been closer to, the skills you could have mastered. It's a ledger of regrets, disguised as reflection, and it can feel endless under the cover of night. Still, sleep does not come. There's a psychological principle that explains this insomnia precisely: the Zeigarnik Effect. The brain holds onto unfinished loops. Open tasks create tension. Closed ones release it. For minds like yours, a birthday is the largest open loop of all. Unfinished projects, conversations never had, habits started and abandoned, potential still untouched. Avoiding the day does not close the loop. It defers it. And deferral accumulates interest. That is why avoidance feels calming at noon and torturous at 2 a.m. The brain doesn't let go. It insists on completion, even if that means replaying scenarios, rehashing decisions, or imagining alternate timelines where things turned out differently. Your mind is not malfunctioning. It is trying to resolve a life that refuses to resolve cleanly. So you build defenses. You plan carefully. Notifications off, social media muted, work extended, noise increased. During the day it works, but sunset changes the equation. A large 2019 meta-analysis found that insomnia correlates more strongly with sensitivity than dysfunction. When the day lacks space for genuine reflection, the night becomes the collector. Unprocessed emotions don't vanish, they compound. Birthday avoidance during daylight hours creates a backlog. The brain, sensing an open loop, keeps the system online. That's why the resistance feels strongest after sunset. The defenses are down, and the real accounting begins. Minds that require meaning cannot be numbed indefinitely. When waking hours lack depth, nights collect the debt. The birthday you are avoiding is not about cake or candles. It is about everything the date represents. And beneath all of it is arithmetic. Every birthday is subtraction. Time lived minus time remaining, a reminder of mortality in a culture built on distraction. Ancient philosophers kept skulls on their desks. You do not need one. You have a calendar. Feeling this while healthy, questioning meaning while others drift, is rare. Depth always charges a price. You pay it in wakefulness. But here's the part no one tells you. Nothing is wrong with you. And there is a way to live with this mind without being consumed by it. First, right before the day arrives. Not journaling, accounting. Dear time, what did you take this year? And what did you give me? Writing forces the brain to convert emotion into structure. You move the reckoning out of the night and onto the page. Second, choose solitude over performance. A walk at dusk, silence, music that knows you. This is not celebration. It is acknowledgement. Third, accept the gap. You will never be finished. The distance between who you are and who you could be is not failure. It is vitality. The moment the gap disappears, so does growth. Fourth, reframe the day entirely. Some people quietly mark it with a private ritual, a solo walk, a letter to your future self, or simply naming one thing you're grateful for without audience. No performance required. Just quiet acknowledgement. This honors the depth without the drain. Fifth, perhaps the most powerful, begin to honor the discomfort itself. When you stop fighting the resistance and start listening to it, something shifts. That quiet dread becomes a compass. It points toward what truly matters to you. The things you avoid performing are the things you value most deeply. The nights you spend awake are nights spent building meaning. The questions that keep you up are the ones that push you forward. Over time, the birthday stops being a trial and starts being a quiet invitation to reflect, to adjust, to live more intentionally. Many people who once dreaded the day now use it as a personal reset, a moment to recalibrate without the noise. You can get there too, not by forcing joy, but by allowing truth. And as you do, you might discover that this sensitivity isn't just a burden, it's a gift. It fuels creativity in the quiet hours, sharpens intuition in relationships, and drives you to seek deeper connections in a superficial world. The same mind that resists birthdays is the one that sees beauty others miss, feels empathy others ignore, and builds a life with purpose others envy. Do not kill the hunger. Just stop letting it devour you. You came here wondering if something was wrong with you. Now you know. Your mind does not reject birthdays out of bitterness. It rejects hollow ritual, forced emotion, unexamined time. In the dark, it does work. Most people spend their lives avoiding. This is not fragility, it is depth. And depth is never comfortable. If this resonated, stay, subscribe. This space is for minds that do not belong to daylight culture. And if you know someone who disappears every birthday, who is awake when the world sleeps, send this to them. They are not alone. Neither are you. Stay awake, stay honest, stay deep, and happy birthday on your own terms.